This team quit. This team quit when they got on the bus, off the bus. This game was over right when K-State returned a kick to about the 40-yard line. Our 40-yard line. This didn't even feel like a football game. This is probably one of, if not the worst, and I've said that quite a bit this year, but this is probably the worst I've seen Texas. And I've seen them bad. This was worse than, what was it, 65-14, whatever the Oklahoma beat us back in the early 2000s. This is worse. Because this team doesn't, I don't get it, you know. K-State, congrats. And the thing is, you know, I know people are gonna. One of the things people are gonna say, and this has nothing to do with the Texas snake bit by K-State, because those are saved for years when the Longhorns are good. The Longhorns suck. The Longhorns didn't. There was nothing good about this game. People were talking about, you know, oh, they saved face by not getting shut out. There was no saving face. This team regressed so far in 1 week, and I didn't think you could regress that much after losing to Baylor and Iowa State and UCLA. The team's just not good. And you watch them like you watch K-State. K-State did the same thing Iowa State and UCLA did. You have a quarterback who just runs and one running back. They may have completed 3 passes, and they didn't need to. I wouldn't. In the Texas offense, statistically, K-State was one of the worst rush defenses in the country. We ran the ball, what? I know no back had over 10 carries. Garrett had the most runs, like nine runs for like 93 yards, but that was so few and far between it didn't matter. And he ended between that, he was throwing 5 picks. And he couldn't hit anybody anyways. It's just... It doesn't make any sense. It does, because we've seen this team throughout the year. And you just talk about the quarterback. Garrett, the picks are what's going to stand out. He couldn't hit anybody. He couldn't hit the bright side of the barn today. It was all over the place. I thought they should have taken him out, not just because, you know, to make a quarterback change, but just because this wasn't helping. The wide receivers couldn't catch anything. The passes were bad. I get that. They couldn't catch anything. The defense was pathetic. I don't want anybody to talk about, oh, the offense, you know, didn't give the defense help. The defense was terrible today. The defense really has no excuse, because they're the side of the ball with the athletes and the real players. The problem with Texas right now, there's no leadership on this team. There's no one that will grab someone's face mask and say, let's get it together. Oh, you see them jumping around on the sideline. Oh, we're ready. We're going to play some football. And then they go out there and get punched in the mouth and quit. Oh, you know, we're down, 24-0 at halftime. And you see on the sidelines, all the Texas players are jumping around and pump. Oh, we're ready. We're ready. And then first play, pick. Oh, this is over. We're done. I really didn't expect to win this game. I didn't think we were going to win because we're just not good. I didn't see this. I didn't see this kind of just a non-factor. And I watched this game over at Doc's backyard down in South Austin, Sunset Valley, with a group of friends. And there's a bunch of games on. And on the TV I was watching the Longhorn K-State game, if you want to call it a game. Next to that was the Texas A&M Oklahoma game. And I watched that. And earlier I watched LSU Alabama. Those were football games. Those were battles between teams that wanted to win. You know, the LSU Alabama game was excellent. Just a back and forth battle. Both teams fighting hard. Both teams playing hard and playing well. And I know Alabama fans, you know, you guys lost, so you can't see it that way. I'm the same way. You know, but that was a great football game. And I watch Oklahoma and A&M. And usually every year I always joke about how this is the game where I don't ever know who I want to win or lose, you know, whatever. But I watched that game. And I see two teams in Texas A&M and Oklahoma who are fighting, and especially Texas A&M, who ended up pulling out the win. You know, Texas A&M is a flawed team. They have problems, But they made a change. They've changed the team around, and they keep fighting. They have character on their team. And even with Oklahoma, they didn't play well, but they kept fighting back. You kept having that. There was that anticipation that OU could come back and win this thing. And then you turn to your left, and you see Kansas State scrimmaging some team wearing white jerseys. This team has gone back. They not just regressed, just to 1 week. Longhorns fans, this team has regressed back to 1997. But the thing about that team, though, that team had a bunch of injuries. And James Brown wasn't with the team. Ricky Williams was the only good player on the team. This team lost a lot of starters. There's no injury problems. Yeah, Aaron Williams was out. I don't think he didn't throw the ball any. And there's other guys on defense. The best player on our offense is Mike Davis. He's a true freshman. And he's not Marcus Lattimore, okay? And you look at the defense. The defense is the one I get some of the maddest about. Because offense sucks. They're terrible. Quarterback's playing terrible. Offensive line is a non-factor. Receivers can't catch anything. Running backs, you don't even know if we even have any. But on the defensive side of the ball, there's so many athletes on that side of the ball. And it's like they can't tackle anybody. I feel bad for Sam Acho because I feel like he is a leader on this team. And he's a guy that I think is a good player. But this team has... You sit there and you're watching, and in 1 year, we went from going to the national championship to hitting something. And I said rock bottom last week. I don't know what rock bottom is, because this team continues to surprise me week in and week out of how really bad they really are. I don't believe they're 39-14 bad against K-State. I think this team quit. This team has no leadership. And, congrats to K-State. You guys killed us. I mean, the game was, like I said, the game was over right when the ball was kicked off. And, but you look at it, in the past, even after Vince with Colt, the Colt McCoy, you had Colt McCoy, Jordan Shipley, Quan Cosby on the defense, you had Brian Orakpo, Sergio Kendall, Earl Thomas. All those guys are gone. But you need to have someone step up. I thought a guy like Malcolm Williams was going to step up with the receivers. He had 1 catch today. I thought James Kirkendall was going to step up. He wasn't much of a factor today. I thought on defense, Blake Gideon was going to step up. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass on the team's throw either, because Robert Griffin had a field day on him. It's the culture of Texas football needs to change back, because it's in 1 year it has reverted back over 10 years. When VY got here in 2004, he changed this thing. He said, I remember, the famous story here at Texas is before the 2005 season, he put a note on the wall that said, "Meet me at the practice field at 7 if you want to beat Ohio State." And that was the kind of mindset they had all season. And that team was just talented. Then when Vince won the championship, he turned the reins over to Colt McCoy. And Colt McCoy had 2 good seasons and 2 outstanding seasons with Texas. And you always knew he was the leader on this team. Now, both of those guys, both of their names are etched in the stadium. So I get it, everybody. We've been spoiled this past 10 years. And I know there's other teams out there who are, saying, "Oh, it's time for Texas to get," and maybe it is. Maybe it's time for it's our time. But I've been more of a optimistic Longhorn, one of the few who has always said, this is a bad season. I expect it kind of be a rebuilding year, not this bad, but it'll get better. As I watch this team, as I watch it regress and get worse and worse every single week, I'm starting to get that feeling that this may not be a 1-year thing, that this could be a problem within this coaching staff. I don't know. I'm not calling for Mac Brown, I think, because if there's any coach in college football that deserves another chance, it's Mac. But they've got to change something. And I've seen Mac do it. And this will be a whole overhaul to try to get this team back on track for next season. But I remember in 2007, and I thought that was a bad year. Colt McCoy's sophomore year, my freshman year here at Texas. We lost 3 games in the regular season. Got beat by A&M. lost to OU, got beat by K-State. And before the Holiday Bowl against Arizona State, he went to boot camp mode. And nobody was a starter. You had to earn your job back. We went into Holiday Bowl and killed Arizona State. It was not a ball game. Rudy Carver didn't know what was going on. There was an instant change. I had never seen that team all year play like that until that ball game. Now, fast forward to this year. Do I think Mac Brown can do that? Not with this team. Not this year. I do have faith in him and the people he surrounds himself with that they can do something next year. But that being said, I will say the past 2 quarterbacks we've had, pretty dang good. Garrett was terrible today. Once again, is it all his fault? No. But you throw pick after pick after pick. You try to thread the needle over and over again. You miss open receivers and half open receivers. You've got to play better than that. He didn't do it. When you can't run the football against one of the worst rushing defenses in the country, that's your offensive line, that's your backs, that's on the coaches. This whole team, top to bottom, is garbage this year. And if they want to have and I know, look, because I'll tell you, because Texas A&M has turned it around. I watched them. Tannehill at quarterback, dude knows what he's doing. Great, he's a smart player too. In Oklahoma, they'll be fine. But you look at Texas A&M, and I know, and next week we're playing Oklahoma State. They'll probably blow us out by 5 touchdowns. You got Florida Atlantic at home. I'm dead serious. That could be a barn burner, and we should probably be underdogs in that game. And I know Aggies don't want to hear this, but I'm planning on going to that game on Thanksgiving night and watching us get our tails whipped. And I know I've been saying that to a bunch of Aggies, and they're like, "No, don't say it. We don't. You never know." You guys are going to kill us in 3 weeks. Because unless this team has some kind of giant come-to-Jesus moment, they're not good enough to beat Texas A&M. Texas A&M is a better football team, and they want to play, but they have more heart and character than this team does. And Oklahoma State's a good team. I will say, before the year started, I thought Oklahoma State was going to suck. No, we suck. So, K-State, congrats. I know I didn't talk a lot about you guys, but you K-State fans, y'all can email or whatever y'all say. I don't know. This is, you fall from going to the national championship, you lose your quarterback in 5 plays, but you can hold your head held high because your team fought, never once gave up. Then you come to this year. This team looks like they quit, not the right mindset, another 4-5, and probably won't go to a bowl game. Probably the biggest drop-off in college football history. So, Longhorns fans, we're watching history. Hook 'em horns, guys. We freaking suck.